Hello everybody. Myself Vishal Nadabra, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. Subhash Technical Campus, Junagadh. Welcomes you in a lecture series of fluid mechanics. In the previous chapter, introduction, we have seen the definition of the fluid mechanics, and sub branches of fluid mechanics, say fluid static, about which we are going to discuss today, then fluid kinetic, then fluid dynamics, and we have seen also the different application areas of the fluid mechanics. After that, we have seen a few liquids and their properties, like density, say mass density, weight density, or specific weight, specific gravity, dynamic viscosity, kinematic viscosity, bulk modulus of elasticity, surface tension, capillarity, and lastly thermodynamic properties with the different unit and definition, followed by Newton's law of viscosity and types of fluid according to the Newton's law of viscosity. And lastly, we have seen the fundamental of cavitation, in which we have discussed about vapor pressure also. So that is we have studied in chapter 1. Now today we are going to start next chapter, which is a fluid static. And today we will discuss about definition of the pressure, definition of the fluid static, then molecular definition of pressure, different unit of pressure and its relation, interrelated relation, and lastly Pascal's law. So let's start. First of all, what is a fluid static? Fluid static is the study of the fluid at rest and related impact of it on the surface in contact. So, in layman terms, it is the study of the fluid when a fluid has zero velocity. So, it is not moving at all. So, we can say it is the fluid stored in the dam, in our domestic tank, or etc. Then the first parameter come into picture is pressure always. So today we will see the definition of pressure and its variation according to the height. Furthermore, we shall discuss the total pressure on the surface in the different position and its point of application, then direction of such a pressure in always perpendicular of the surface on which it acts. So this is the fluid static about which we are going to start today. Then as per the discussion of first parameter, say pressure, we will see first the definition of pressure. So when the fluid comes in contact with any substance or in any wall, then it always exerts some pressure on that wall. So if we say in technical terms, when a fluid is contained in a vessel, it exerts force at all points on the sides, bottom, and top of the container. So it is a discussion about the closed vessel. So there are sides, bottom, and top. If the container is open, then it exerts a pressure on sides and bottom also. And the force in the application of this force and divided by the area of that wall, it is called pressure. So in layman terms, we can say it is a force per unit area. For understanding, let's consider some area in which let's see, this is the very small area called dA. So this is a very small area dA. If you apply the force on this area of the amount of dF, so this is the whole surface. In the whole surface, we have considered the very small area dA, and if you apply the force, very small force dF on this area, then the quantity dF by dA will become a pressure, or intensity. In simple terms, it is a intensity of pressure. And according to this definition, unit will become Newton per meter square. Newton, say, for this force, and meter square is for this area. So in SI unit, it is Newton per meter square. In MKS unit, it is kgf per meter square, and in CDS unit, it is gram force per cm square. So this is the definition of pressure, it is also called as the intensity of pressure. Then here there are some unit of pressure. The very first unit is Pascal. It is equal to the Newton per meter square. Then bar is a little bit larger unit, which is equal to 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square, or we can say it equal to 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Then atmosphere is generally considered as a reference pressure, and the atmospheric pressure is a reference level. In comparison with this, all the other pressure are measured sometimes. So what is the pressure of atmosphere? Atmospheric pressure is considered as a 101,325 Newton per meter square, or we can say 101,325 Pascal. But in real practical application, it is always comes as a kilopascal, say 101.325. In many weather application in monsoon season, you can see this unit, or in IMD website also you can see this unit. Then another unit is mm of Hg, or 1 mm of Hg is also called as a torr. So what is this mm of Hg? It is the unit as per the hydrostatic law, which is equal to P equal to rho Ga, about which we will study in the further discussion of this chapter, rho G H. So according to this, unit of this P is Newton per meter square, or bar, or any regular SI unit, and about which H is also considered as a pressure. If you transfer this rho G, or specific weight, in the numerator of P, then the unit of P will be a mm of Hg, or mm of mercury, or mm of water column, or mm of oil, according to the fluid in which reference to this is measured. Then very practical unit is kg per cm square, which is equal to 98066.5 Newton per meter square. Almost you can say it is equal to 1 bar, but not exactly. In layman terms, in practical purpose, you can consider as a 1 bar, but technically when in calculation during numerical, you cannot consider as a 1 bar. So here I have seen two pressure gauges. One pressure gauge is used in mostly in industrial purpose. Another is for our general purpose, or when you go to the garage for pumping air into the any vehicle, then this type of gauge pressure you can see. Here you can see PSI and kg per cm square. Both are the practical unit. PSI is the per square inch. Sorry, pound per square inch. So pound is the unit of weight, and inch is square inch is the unit of area, and the kg per cm square. Here you can see the black color or outside number, which is up to the 70. It is the kg per cm square, and inside number which are psi, pound per square inch. This is up to 70, so this is the this is for the low pressure application. But in the during industrial purpose, it required a very high amount of pressure, say in thermal power plant or any other application. So here you can see the maximum pressure up to 250 bar. So outside pressure or outside scaling is about the bar, and inside scaling is of psi, pounds per square inch. So this is we can say industrial gauge pressure, and this sorry gauge, and this is the general purpose gauge. So here PSI is also divided into three different category, but that we will see in a moment. Before going on this, we will understand the different type of pressure. Here type of pressure is according to the measurement of the reference about which it is going to measure. So here there are two different stages of reference. One is the absolute zero pressure, say absolute zero pressure line. Here you can see, and as you go above, pressure will rise. So here it is a 0 bar or 0 Newton per meter square, you can say. As further go in upward direction, here you can say the line which is atmospheric pressure line, which is equal to 101.325 kilopascal, as we have seen earlier. So there are two references to measure the pressure. One reference is the zero absolute pressure line, and another pressure is the atmospheric pressure line. When you measure any pressure with reference to this zero absolute pressure line, this pressure are called as a absolute pressure. So absolute pressure is nothing but the pressure measured with reference to this absolute zero pressure line. And atmospheric pressure, we can say it is also an absolute pressure, but absolute pressure of this atmospheric pressure line is 101.325 kilopascal. So absolute atmospheric pressure is considered as another reference for the measurement. Why this? Why requirement of arise to measure with reference to atmospheric pressure? Because in the real world, whatever we are measuring, always atmospheric pressure is present. So almost all the instrument that we used for measurement of the pressure are measure the pressure with reference to atmospheric pressure. And if you measure the pressure with reference to atmospheric pressure, it is either called a gauge pressure or vacuum pressure. So here, why it is when it is called gauge pressure? So if your pressure is above this atmospheric pressure, let's say suppose here, this is the point. Let's suppose it is called a point A. If you measure the pressure of this point A with reference to this atmospheric pressure, then it is called gauge pressure because it is above this this atmospheric pressure. And if you measure this pressure of this point A with reference to this atmosphere absolute pressure, then it is called absolute pressure of A. Both have a different value, but pressure in practical terms, it is common or it is unique. But if you measure any pressure, let's suppose any pressure, any point, it is B, which is here, then it have a pressure lower than the atmospheric pressure. Let's suppose that is 0.8 kilopascal, sorry, 0.8 bar or 0.7 bar or 0.9 bar. Then it is also called as a gauge pressure, but negative gauge pressure. Here you can see the word negative gauge pressure, and the negative gauge pressure is considered as a vacuum pressure here. So vacuum pressure and gauge pressure are both are measured with the same reference level as atmospheric pressure. If it is the positive, then it is called gauge pressure, and if it is negative, then it is called vacuum pressure. So this is the difference between this absolute pressure, atmospheric pressure, gauge pressure, and vacuum pressure. And here the barometric pressure. So the pressure measured with the help of barometer, it is called as a barometric pressure. So here we can see the relation between the absolute pressure and gauge pressure. Now, if we further discuss in detail, then if you want to measure the absolute pressure of A, which is PA, equal to gauge pressure of A. So PG gauge pressure of A plus atmospheric pressure So by this way you can measure or you can calculate the absolute pressure of this point A. But if you want to absolute pressure of this point B, then you have to subtract the pressure of this or gauge pressure or negative gauge pressure of this point B from the atmospheric pressure. So by this way you can interchange the gauge pressure into absolute pressure or vacuum pressure into absolute pressure. So after that, what we have missed in the previous slide, it is a PSI or the types of PSI, which is one PSI is equal to 6894.74 Newton per meter square. Say 6894.76 Pascal. Sorry, bar is the 10⁵ Pascal. So here PSIA, it is the pound per square inch atmospheric, which is equal to 14.7. So this is the atmospheric pressure in terms of PSI, which is we called here 101.325 kilopascal. It is in kilopascal, but if you measure in PSI, it is 14.7 PSI at sea level. say local atmospheric pressure. It may vary according to the different season. But if you measure this with reference to, or any pressure you can measure with reference to this atmospheric pressure, then this is called PSIG, pound per square inch gauge. So for example, if we go to the garage for piping air in our motorcycle, then we feel about 40 kg per cm square. Then in if equal to the 40 kg per cm square, it is equal to the psi, we can say here approximately 500 or 575. So this is called PSIG, pound per square inch gauge. And this is called this is measured with reference to the atmosphere. But if you use any other reference than the atmosphere, then it is called as a PSID, pound per square inch differential. So these are the three subtypes which is generally used in practical purpose in industry. So no need to worry about it. It is just a PSI, nothing difference. So these all are the unit considered as a different level in industry or in local purpose or semi-skilled purpose. Mostly use this type of pressure, and in many times if you ask for the relation between kg per cm square, they don't know the relation between kg per cm square and bar or Pascal. So, but as a technical person, we must know about all the unit of the pressure. So these all are the unit of the pressure. Then we will move ahead. These are the different scale of measurement. Now, let's see the Pascal's law. What the Pascal says about the pressure. Statement is like this: the intensity of pressure at any point in a liquid at rest is same in all directions. Point out the mark here, liquid at rest. So Pascal's law is applicable in the fluid static only when the fluid is rest. But when the fluid is flowing in the pipe or in turbine or any centrifugal or any pump, then Pascal's law is not applicable for fluid which has some velocity. So for the derivation purpose, let's consider one triangular element, very small element, LMN. LMN, small element. And let's consider the thickness of this element perpendicular to this slide is unit. So the area of this Ln side is Ln length only. Area of this Lm side is Lm only, Lm into 1. And the area of this Mn is Mn into 1. So simply Mn. And let's consider Px is the intensity of pressure on the side Ln, Py is the intensity of pressure on the side Mn in the upward direction. Here it is in left hand side direction, and Pz is intensity of pressure on the Lm side direction. Why we have taken is at some inclination, because as per the definition of pressure, pressure is always act perpendicular to the surface in contact with the surface. So we have taken is as incline, and as per this, let's consider the inclination of this with vertical is alpha, and according to the geometry, this angle will also become alpha. So according to the statement, what we are going to prove, or what we supposed to prove is intensity of pressure at any point is same in all directions. So intensity pressure we have taken as a Px, Py and Pz. So we have to prove Px equal to Py equal to Pz in this condition. So let's start with the horizontal forces, or resolving the forces horizontally. So in horizontal direction, there are two forces. One force is the Px in left hand side direction, and another force is a component of this Pz, that we can say in horizontal direction and vertical direction. So the horizontal direction will be a sine component, vertical component will be a cos component. So after for resolving the forces in the horizontal direction, px is the left hand side direction, so we will put in the one side, and on the other side the another force is because of this Pz, or intensity of pressure, Pz, or sign component of the intensity of pressure, Pz. But here we are going to resolve the forces in the direction. So if you want to force, then we have to multiply this intensity of pressure multiply by the area on which it acts. So here the force on the left horizontal direction, first force, say from left to right direction, is Pz, say intensity of pressure Pz into area of this. So area is Lm into 1, and this force is Fz. So Fz into Pz into sine theta, sine alpha. Sorry, here angle is we have taken as a alpha. So Pz into sine alpha into area. In opposite direction, so we have taken on the opposite side of the bracket, equal to sign, then it is px into this area. Area is ln multiplied by 1. So we get the relation Pz into Lm into sine theta equal to Px into Ln. After considering these two forces, let's see the geometry of this triangular element, which is Lmn. According to this angle alpha, sine alpha equal to Ln divided by Lm. So put this value of this sine alpha here, you will get Ln divided by Lm. So Ln Lm cancel out, and Ln will also cancel out, and we get the Pz equal to Px, which is nothing but the intensity of pressure on Ln and intensity of pressure on Lm. So we have proved this, these two intensity Pz and Px both are equal in this case. Now let's consider vertical forces to prove the Py equal to Pz. So for considering the vertical forces, there are three vertical forces here. One is the pressure force on this Mn, another is the pressure force on the ML, or the cos component of this Pz, and another force is also here, which is nothing but the gravitational force W. So after resolving the forces, we can write the equation as Fz cos alpha plus W, because both are in downward direction, equal to upward direction. So Fz cos alpha, which is nothing but the pressure force on this Lm. So Fz cos alpha, this is in downward direction, plus this W, and in upward direction force is the force on this Mn side. So if we move the W from left hand side to right hand side, it will be negative, and the equation we get is Fz cos alpha equal to Fy minus W. Now, according to the definition of this force, Fz equal to intensity of pressure into area, which is Lm. So Pz into Lm here, cos theta as it is, equal to Fy. Fy, say it is the intensity of Fy is the force or pressure force on this Mn side. So it is equal to Py intensity of pressure multiplied by area, which is equal to Mn into 1. So here, and as this component is very small, we have considered the dimension is very small dimension. So for that element, we can neglect this weight force, or simply a weight. So we will neglect here, and after this consideration, according to geometry of this triangular element, what is cos alpha? Cos alpha is nothing but the Mn divided by Lm. Mn divided by Lm side. So if we put the value of cos alpha equal to Mn divided by Lm, then Lm will cancel out here, and Mn will also cancel out with this cos alpha component. And what we get is Pz equal to Py. Hence, we got two results: Px equal to Pz equal to Px, and Px equal to Py. Pz equal to Py. So after these two conclusion, we can say that Px equal to Py equal to Pz. Hence, it is proved say intensity of pressure on all the direction. Say we have seen in horizontal direction, in vertical direction, and inclined direction. All are same according to the Pascal statement. Hence, Pascal's law is proved here. So that is all for today, my dear friends. What we have seen today, let's conclude. First, uh, we have started with fluid static, definition of the fluid static, then definition of the pressure. Then we have seen different definition of different unit of pressure, then an interrelation, and lastly we have seen this Pascal's law. So thank you, friends.